Mirna gets to share with us a sad experience in her life, which took place during her marriage. Once again, she touches our souls. Hi, Mirna.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm great.
Good to hear. To continue with your story, what are you going to share with us today?
Today I want to share an ugly experience. When I came home, I'll tell the story. So, in my summary of the introduction of this channel, I share I had a stroke, and a stroke that left me with 50% of my body practically with permanent damage. So, when I had the stroke, I was in Mexico. And because I was visiting my mom in Mexico and I had the stroke, so I had to stay. And I stayed like 5 months over there before coming home. So when I came, I remember it was a Thursday, and father of my children was going to be home by Saturday because he was working out of town. So that Saturday, I remember like early morning, screamings. He walked in the house all screaming, and that woke me up. And I got up, I quickly got up, and he was coming down the hallway, and I saw he was like screaming at one of our sons, our older son to be specific. And he was complaining something about the care of the chicks, like he didn't do a good care of the chicks. So he was screaming at him, and I said like, what are you doing? And he said like, don't get involved, this has nothing to do with you. And I said, but it does, because you're screaming at our son. And he said, no, I'm already told you, don't get involved with this. And I said, no, you don't do that. You don't do that to our son. So when I came home, we were talking about my face being like, with paralysis, and my right hand, like my left hand, like totally limp. I would drag my foot limping. So it's not easy to deal with the recovery of a stroke. When I said like, no, like I was like don't scream to our son, and my face was all like this. He did the very same, just like a mirror image. And then yeah. I remember back then that really hurt like big time. It was just like blades or vice or something like. That was pretty rough. That was not a shining moment like they say. He did that, and he quickly left the house, and he was pretty heated. So from the way that he was acting, I called the police to report domestic violence. I felt threatened. I was gone for 5 months. I didn't get high from him. I didn't hi, how are you? I got no hugs, no embracing. I didn't get how was your flight? How are you feeling today? Nothing. But we're talking about I was gone for 5 months. Away from my children. Away from him. To any woman out there who's a mother, who's a wife, it's not easy to be away from your family for 5 months. But so I called the police. They came. Luckily for him, he wasn't home, so they didn't get to see him. The police officers, they started asking me and my son, what had happened, what is the reason of our call. And we explained, it was because of the care of the animals, or his livestock at home. And then the police officers could see like I was in bad shape. So they said like if I wanted to leave the house because I needed to take a break. And I said it was not possible because I didn't have a driver's license due to the condition of my medical experience that I was going through. So I said like not to worry about that, not to worry about not having a driver's license and leave the house, take a drive, try to shake it off and shake off the experience, which Of course, it was not easy back then. And I remember he also said, "You're not the only one. This is like, you're not. You weren't the only family who was living under those circumstances, under those conditions." And that was pretty sad to hear. So that's what I have to share today, my ugly experience of, what else can I say?
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You are brave in sharing your story. You are brave. A question that I have is, was he fully aware that when you returned to the U.S., he was fully aware that you had a stroke?
Of course he was fully aware.
And he saw your condition right there when y'all was face to face?
Of course he saw it. He even had the audacity to mock me.
So instead of embracing you, he mocked you.
Yes.
No compassion, no sympathy, no what transpired in Mexico that led up to your stroke?
Nothing like that. He was not even talking about what had happened that morning when he came back home that day.
So his mind, his feelings, his emotions were on the chicks,
yes.
The chickens.
Yeah, on his animals.
So he cared more about the chickens than your condition and what you went through.
Practically.
Now, from that point on, did you and your ex-husband ever sit down? Did you ever sit down and have a discussion regarding your stroke and what you're going to do, there on out, like what the treatments, the therapy, and did y'all discuss anything like that?
No. I went through all of that, but I never discussed with him. No,
it's amazing.
We never sat down to talk about that. It was just like nothing happened. Didn't happen to him. Yeah.
Amazing. I tell you what, you are a very strong individual. Patient. You have a lot of patience, and you stood your ground. You stood your ground, even though you had that stroke. You stood your ground as a woman. Any words of you would like to share with the audience? Any words of, wisdom or anything you would like to just share?
Oh, what I would share, to any person out there, because men and women, because I'm aware that some abuse, in this for your spouse can happen to anyone. I'll say don't stay. Don't stay in a place where you're not wanted, where you're not appreciated, where where you don't get the embrace and deserve. And don't wait too long. Don't wait for it to be so late that you have to leave. I do not promote divorce or separation, but I'll say do something about it. Don't be afraid, like in my case as a woman. Don't be afraid to call on the police because of to be afraid of the consequences. Yes, I'll say just not to be afraid. I'll say be brave and because you see red flags, don't wait for it to be long. To be late. Don't wait for to get to a point where you actually get sick. In my case, I had a stroke I've been carrying for 11 years now. So this is how life is for me right now. But I'll just say don't wait. Do something about it. That's what I had to say for now.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. And we look forward to the next one.
Thank you.